Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I am the Turkey Whisperer.
And I'm Claire, and I want to play D&D The Sims.
And this is
Make That Game, where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas
that aren't ever going to get made, period.
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point, question mark.
Semicolon.
Exclamation point.
Star.
Period.
Smiley face.
That's... Oh,
right,
no,
fine,
with emojis.
Fine.
That's...
Colon,
no, that's...
parenthesis.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
there you go.
All right, perfect.
All right, well...
We've got it. D&D Sims?
It's what I'm calling Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, that... I've heard a thing or two about that game. I don't know. It doesn't seem that big.
No, it's an indie release. It's a very small, very unknown game.
Just like that Nintendo?
Nintendo, I think.
Oh, Nintendo. Game Tears of the Kingdom. That was also
Tears
a small,
of the Kingdom,
tiny little thing.
Yes,
Baldur's Gate 3, yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3.
I've been trying to watch streams, and everybody's just playing that game.
Really?
So I haven't been able to, like, even the streams that normally do things not even related in anything to that are playing that. And I'm like, no, but I want to watch, Diablo 2. I want to watch Warcraft 3. I want to watch Dota 2. That kind of stuff.
Not allowed.
And it's just, they're all friggin' doing Baldur's Gate 3. Can you believe it?
I mean, I can, because I've never wanted to play a D&D video game in my life. And then I see all these videos of it. And I want to play it mostly because of the character creation. That part looks really fun, which is why I'm thinking of it as D&D The Sims, because really that's what it is, I think. But I've never played, so I'm probably wrong.
Okay, well, hey, Sims is a roguelike.
Yeah, I think we just need to keep coming up with more unhinged things about The Sims to say.
Just completely wild takes.
Yeah, like it is canon in our podcast now that Sims is a roguelike.
And Baldur's Gate is pretty close to a roguelike.
It is? That makes me nervous.
Well, it isn't actually, but I'm sure there will be a mod that will have randomized dungeons and permanent death and stuff.
Yeah, I have literally no idea what the gameplay is like, but I'm so tempted to get it. But what I actually might purchase is the game Unpacking.
Oh. That's the one where you've moved and there's rooms and the boxes and you take things out of the boxes.
Yeah, it's very chill. I think it's going to fill the hole that Sticky Business... I wouldn't say left behind because I can still play Sticky Business, but I've kind of...
Does that game ever end?
No, but I've kind of done it.
You fulfilled yourself on it.
Right. And it's something I could pick up if I'm like, ooh, I just want to do a couple little stickers.
A little coffee break.
Right. But and there are a couple storylines in it. Like people who order your stickers go through like stories.
Oh, like they're writing letters and they're like, your stickers really helped me get through my parents' divorce.
That's actually one. That is actually one. The little kid likes dinosaur stickers and yeah.
Perfect. I'm glad I called it. I called it.
So I think I'm almost done or completely done the stories. So it's like at that point you're kind of just making stickers. But yeah, so that's what's happening in my gaming world is looking for some new things, but also still playing some old things. And we actually pitch games on this show, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah.
Since when?
Since the dawn of time.
How many episodes have we been doing that? Because this doesn't seem familiar to me.
64 episodes. This will be the 65th time we do it.
Oh, geez. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Outrageous. Okay. Well.
Do you have a game idea?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I do. It's called Lil Cart Boy.
Okay. I like the name already. I'm very good. I'm very into it at this point.
Yeah. And the basic premise of this one, if we go back to Isaac's methods of designing game pitches for this show, otherwise known as game ideas, this is the take one feature of a game and then expand it into an entire game of its own right. And so what this is this is the trading game most famously, I think, from like Legend of Zelda games.
Oh, yep.
Expanded out to a full game.
Okay, no, I mean, take all my money.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Everybody loves the trading game. I don't know how. So it's it's in Link's Awakening. It's in Oracle of Seasons, I'm pretty sure. It's in Ocarina of Time. I think Majora's Mask. I think it's a pretty staple feature, but Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom don't even have it.
I feel like Breath of the Wild might.
What?
I don't know. I thought there was someone in Breath of the Wild who's like, I feel like there's been times, maybe they're not fully the trading game. I don't think they go as deep, but there's been times when people like, it doesn't alert a quest marker, but it's like, if only I had this thing. And I'm like, is this going to be anything? But then I can't, because there's no quest marker, I can never remember who said those things to me. So then I just move on with my life.
Fair. Well, we'll have to closely investigate that. But okay. So you are Little Cart Boy. You are a boy. You've got a cart.
You know what? I thought you were a little card boy. I like it both ways, but I could not understand. Yeah.
Never mind. We're adding character creation to this, so you can be a little boy, little girl, little child, little cart child. So you have a little cart that you push around, and people put things inside of the cart. And when you get close to people who want things from the cart, they'll come over and they'll take things out. And your goal is to have everybody in the game world be satisfied. When they've gotten satisfied, I guess, they get a heart above their head. So once everybody in the world has a heart above their head, including, the evil demon lord or whatever, there's no combat or anything. You're literally just carting around and solving people's problems and like giving them what they need via proxy of other people. So at a very basic level, you start off, you just have to find the first person who's willing to give you something for completely free. And then the next, someone else in the world, somebody gives you a stick. And then somebody else in the world, this is stealing it directly from Link's Awakening, need that stick to knock a beehive down. And then you get honey. And then somebody else gets that honey and they'll give you something else. And instead of just being like one trade line, like Link's Awakening had it, because that's just like a sub part of the game. Instead of just one trade line, there's multiple, and some of them branch. Like you might get multiple things, like the sheep farmer, you might bring something and they'll give you shears and wool. And then somebody might need the shears and somebody else might need the wool. And, So it's got all these people, and they have their own problems going on, and if you solve their problems, they'll give you something, and the only way you have to solve those problems is by acquiring things from other people. And it's just figuring out where all those chains are and where you need to go. And then Speedrunner's Delight, optimizing the path, knowing exactly where to go.
Yeah.
Point A to point B to get the fastest possible time.
Cool.
And yes, there is an evil demon lord who can be satisfied by the trade game, and then he becomes a peaceful, nice guy.
So I like this game. You had me sold out of the gate. I do think the biggest potential, the part that makes the least sense is unfortunately the cart itself. Because your idea was that it would you'd roll in and people would come and get their things, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of seeking and finding and talking to different people and going to different locations and doing these small tasks if you have a cart on a road. So I feel like the cart part...
Well, you don't have to stay on the road.
I don't think
you can bring the cart anywhere.
Okay. I just don't think the cart part makes any sense.
You don't think the cart part?
No.
That's where people deposit their items and then they look through it and it's like a little shopping.
But the point isn't that. So to me, the point of the trading game, and I was waiting because I was like, maybe you'll describe a different game, but you describe exactly what I imagined, except obviously it's on a bigger scale. But part of the point is that you have to give them the correct thing. It's not that they're finding it in your cart. That just seems like you could randomly collect things and randomly go to people and hope that you're achieving the goal here.
Yes.
That's not fun to me.
Well,
it should be precise.
But there's not you walk up to someone and you hold the crab out to them and, well, that is how Ocarina of Time did it, I guess. I don't think just having it in your inventory was enough. In Link's Awakening, just having it in your inventory was enough.
Yeah, I get that. I guess to me, it's I want to be when you go to give someone the right thing, they're like, oh, you have this. It's not look in my cart and maybe I have it. I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too caught up on it, but the mechanic of having a cart full of stuff and maybe the stuff is right just seems to take the nuance and fun out of the game, out of it.
Okay. All right. Well,
But maybe not. Maybe
Listeners,
it's fine.
what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about the cart? Is the cart just a confusing trapping, or is it a little detail that works?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right that it's irrelevant to the actual anything that's going on. Like, it could be a backpack. It could be not visually represented in any way. It could just be your inventory hammer space where you have infinite pockets.
I guess if
whatever.
you think of it as just like completely representative, it's kind of fine.
Oh, I did remember that I did have an idea of like some of the trade branches end in like permanent upgrades, like increasing your cart size.
Yeah.
So I came up with this idea very late last night, and I wrote notes on my phone that allowed me to remember a little bit of it, but I didn't write this part because this is after I put my phone away and like completely like went to sleep. But yes, you upgrade some of the paths lead to upgrade carts, and like the way that you satisfy the Demon King at the end is you have the biggest possible cart, and it's just inhumanly, unimaginably large, and it fits something inconceivably large inside of it to be very funny.
Okay, see now it has a point. Now I like it, and also it sounds like it's going to be a similar inventory management style as Subnautica, where items take up a certain amount of blocks.
No, I didn't even think about that. Like in my head, when the people put it in the cart, it would, if it fits, they would put it in.
I think
things would be rolling around in the cart.
Well, I don't care about that one way or the other. But I think it would be cool if like in order to get a certain item, you need to upgrade your cart, so you need to do more trades.
Yeah.
To fit it because you don't have enough space. And then, but that way the big item, like the thing that the Demon King wants, you also it's so big you need an empty cart because it takes up your entire inventory slots. Yes. That's what I'm saying. I think that makes it cool.
That's little cart person.
I like it.
Do you have a game idea?
Yeah, kind of. I guess it's more of a vibe.
Oh, okay. We like vibes.
Also, yeah, I do like your game. I just have to get the cart mechanics. I have to get into it. I just feel like it ended on a. I didn't mean to end it on a sad note.
It did. I don't think it ended on a sad note.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So my idea. I don't know. We went to a lot of libraries today.
Yes, we did. We went on a library quest, and then our yard was conquered by turkeys.
That's true. That did happen.
That's our day so far, listeners.
Which part of our day do you think I'm making a game about?
The library quest.
The library quest. Yeah. Well, and so it's kind of, I don't know, just I was at libraries and I'm like, what's a library game? And one of the reasons I want to play the game Unpacking is because I think I always just keep coming up with the idea of that game, and I'm like, no, that's already a game. Like I'm like, what if I think I've literally thought, because we've moved, I'm like, what if you move and you have to unpack? And I'm like, nope, that's the game. That's literally the game. But I've also thought about like you have to organize your room. That's the game Unpacking. And I was like, oh, you have to organize books on the library. And it's like, not only is that the game Unpacking, it's also a game Isaac pitched like a while ago.
Oops.
Well,
wait, was that the one about being a bad mover? And
no, you pitched this one. This was your full game, and it was like you organize. It was like basically book sorting, and you could pick like how you sort the books, and you like. They're like you could do color coded. Or there was all these kinds of like nuances. It was cool. It was a good
yes. Game. Okay, I remember that. That was an early episode.
That was an early episode. But so I'm just saying
before we moved.
All these things have already been discussed, and so I'm like, shoot, how do I come up with a library game? So basically, what I'm imagining is let's go back to like 2005. You're sitting at your PC in the computer room. You pop in that sweet CD-ROM, and you're playing Nancy Drew, the click-through mystery game.
Okay.
And so I was imagining, what if it's that?
Okay.
But you're in a library. You're locked in the library, so we're bringing a little Arthur into it. My favorite Arthur episode is called Locked in the Library. Check it out if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah. Arthur, the sister show to make that game.
Yeah. And you're going to solve a mystery. Now, I don't know what the mystery is, but the idea is that part of how you're going to do this is to discover like who's checked out what book. So like you're going to look in the card catalog, you're going to be looking at the book inserts, you're going to be doing some file deep diving, like computer stuff, but really the gameplay is basically identical to Nancy Drew mystery PC games, where you're clicking on rooms, you're clicking on people, you're selecting things. It's very point and click story, but you're unraveling this like library mystery and trying to escape the library.
Okay. Speedrunner hack for this game. In order to win, you just need to go to the history section and go to the book How to Lock Someone in a Library and find out who checked that out last, and they're the villain.
That's really funny because also in the Arthur episode, so my favorite line of Arthur, maybe of all time, is so the story of, just a little detour. Okay. The story of Locked in the Library, the episode of Arthur, is Arthur and Francine, they're like fighting. I don't know why. They're fighting because they're kids. But they both accidentally get locked in the library somehow. Like the library closes. They
independently or at the same time?
So at the same time. They're both, I think they were like both in their respective bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
And I guess the librarians didn't check the bathroom or whatever.
Why would you?
So they get locked in the library. And I don't remember why, but the phones don't work because they obviously try that. And so because this is a show that really engages reading, like Arthur's a very big proponent. A very big
proponent.
Well, no,
proponent.
They want to teach kids to read. They want kids to be excited to read.
Yes.
So they're like, well, we're in a library. There's got to be a book that's going to help us get out. And so they look in the card catalog, and there's a book called How to Escape from a Library, but it's checked out.
Aww.
And my favorite line is Francine going, "Why would you need a book on how to escape a library if you weren't already in a library?" And it's a very fair point, and it's just a very funny, I mean, it's literally like 30 seconds of the show, but it's just very, very funny. Like, oh man, there's a book that literally would help us. It would be the perfect book, and yet it's out. And then who would need that book?
And see, that would be the perfect Easter egg to put in this game that you got too. Yeah. Like that's such and you could even have a voice line when you go to click that book or whatever. Your character finds that it's checked out. You play that voice line like.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I think the power went out. I think that's why they can't call. I don't know. Obviously, the whole point is that they have to work together and like mend their friendship. And then I think someone's like actually in the basement, it turns out. I don't know. It's a great episode. Most Arthur episodes are pretty good.
Yeah. Sister show.
Not a lot of stinkers in there. Yeah. All right. Well, that's my game idea. I don't have a name for it.
Locked in a library.
That's a little too on the nose. That's also the name of the Arthur episode.
Okay, but actually, here's the thing. You could reach out to the Arthur Foundation. Mm-hmm. I assume it's a foundation.
Sure.
Arthur Corp, Arthur LLC,
PBS.
Okay. Arthur the Aardvark, Inc. Oh, it is PBS. Like PBS fully owns Arthur.
I'm pretty sure.
Like the show and books and everything.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Well.
Or Mark Brown. Mark Brown's the author.
Yeah, we reach out to whoever holds the licensing deals there, and we make this a licensed game, straight up.
Yeah, well, yeah. I bet actually on pbskids.org.
Ooh, yeah, a little HTML5 game going on. But yeah, okay.
All right. Well, that's that.
I have a question.
Okay.
Well, not really. A point of discussion. And this is literally a question from me to you to kick off the discussion that I think can lead to a wider thing. Mm-hmm. So a while ago, you played a game, at least the demo of a game called Little Nightmares 2. And one thing that you really liked about it was the tactile feeling of the controls.
Yes.
And I would like you to describe that a little bit more as like our jumping, like to you, what is a tactile control?
Okay.
For a video game.
It's been a little while since I did this.
Yeah, I was worried about that, but like but a little bit behind the scenes, a little BTS for the listeners here. We do not prepare each other for these questions ever, so it leads to moments like this.
Right.
It's
That's
great.
what we want.
Surprise.
So basically, I mean, it had the same like movement mechanics as anything else.
Move stick, character move.
Yep.
Okay.
But what I liked about it was the way you engaged the shoulder buttons. Mm-hmm. So like basically in order to like grab up something, you like press the shoulder button to like pull yourself up. And then there's like another one, I think, to push things. I don't know. For some reason, it just made a lot of sense in my brain.
So it didn't just like automatically do things when you got close to it.
Right.
You had to manually do something.
Physically do it. And not only that, like I liked that, but it didn't feel like random. Like it wasn't just push a button. It was like, I don't know. It felt, that's why it's hard to describe.
Natural to you. Like yes, this shoulder button is obviously associated to pushing, like,
right.
in your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. It like
Okay.
connected to what I would expect. And I also liked the fact that we had to do those things. So yeah, that would be it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, part of the reason why I was thinking about this is there's something that kind of aggravates me in Tears of the Kingdom.
I knew it was going to be about
I
Tears of the
don't know
Kingdom.
if this aggravates you. If you get near a log or a rock,
You push it.
if your hitbox collides at all with its hitbox, Link goes into, like, you can hit something at a 90-degree angle, but then he just goes to turn and starts pushing it. And, like, depending on the situation, that's almost worse than, like, the Korok meme of, like, an enemy's fighting you and then
So there's the pushing it. There's also the climbing random things.
Yes.
That's also a problem.
Yeah. Where you're jumping around and then suddenly he latches onto the wall and you're like, no, wait, no, this is not what I wanted. Or latches onto a tree in a field or something. And what I'm trying to say is that's not tactile at all. And also, it feels bad when it happens.
Yeah.
And even if nothing is going on, even if I'm just trying to walk straight through a field and there's a boulder and the millimeter of hitbox, like the pixel of hitbox collides with each other, and then Link suddenly turns 90 degrees and starts pushing a rock down a hill. What's going on with that?
Yeah.
So tactile sensation in games. Now, or not sensation,
it's not
because
really.
sensation would really be
The
more of like
vibrations and, yeah.
the rumble pack of the controller. But like
Sometimes in cutscenes, I put the controller down but it will have rumbles to like get you into a cutscene, and then I keep thinking my phone is buzzing, and it's like it's just like anyway. That's a sidebar. Go ahead.
But yeah, part of it is I don't think that you can really add buttons to Tears of the Kingdom, right?
No, but I think
you couldn't add a grab.
You can
button.
surely take things away. I think you could, and I think you could get rid of some of the buttons that are happening. I think there's too many buttons in that game.
There is a lot of buttons in that game, but I don't, because like I'm thinking about it, and like every button is mapped to a pretty important feature, except for like the D-pad, and the D-pad.
I don't know what the D-pad is.
That's the like plus sign shaped thing. Well, I guess it's not a D-pad on the Switch, but it's the lower one with the horse whistle button.
I always hit that by accident.
Yeah, that wouldn't feel very good if you had to press a button on that to grab every time. Like there's no free shoulder button, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I think there probably should be. I think they're bad.
That's fair.
I'm trying to remember what they all do. Does the right shoulder do anything?
Yeah, one of them is shoot arrows and one of them is throw things.
Right.
Yeah, so those are both used. And then the other side, it's hold shield or use your ability.
See, I think shields we don't need those. So you can just get rid of
okay,
shields.
Yeah.
We can get rid of.
You heard it here, folks. Remove shields from Legend of Zelda.
I literally do not upgrade my shields like inventory slots because I don't use them enough to break them. I've broken like 2 shields in the hundreds of hours I've played that game because I don't use them.
Good. But so it's run out of space, so I can to gravitate back to my point, so I can understand why it does not have like this tactile feel, and it kind of had to make a sacrifice, and it's arguable apparently on whether that sacrifice was worth it.
I'm being facetious. I know that some people really play with the shield. That's fine. I do think, and I mean, I might not be able to solve this today, but I think that what we're getting at in the discussion is like really thinking through the user experience of playing your game like physically and also mentally, and how those two things connect. Because I do think that Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild actually had, I think, more issues with what buttons do what. Like, for example, the shoulder buttons, now they scroll through your inventory, and you used to have to use the side scroller.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, I think, really bad and slow.
So yeah, that is, we meandered a little bit, but I guess that was the main thing I wanted to emphasize for game designers, prospective game designers out there, is really think about, you know, when you have these things, like how it like you said, how it actually feels to play, like play test it, or have other people play test it. And like,
I mean,
if your game depends on a feature where you're pushing rocks around, make that feel good.
I mean,
Tears of the Kingdom luckily doesn't depend on it.
Yeah, but also I think Tears of the Kingdom could get away with, like, because there is a button. Like, if you get close to a wall, I think there's a climb up button.
I think the jump button.
Will and then there's a climb down button. And then the A if you get near a cliff.
Oh yeah, that's that is context sensitive controls.
And then but also, like, I'm just saying they probably could solve for it by having you get next to a rock and just have an option that's like push.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Also the shield parry button I don't think does anything if you're not actively.
What is the shield parry button? What are you talking about?
The button that makes you parry with the shield.
I thought you just hit A.
Yeah, that's the shield parry button.
That's just A. That's not. That's nothing.
What else does the A button do?
It lets you climb down a cliff for one. That's
the context sensitive button and the parry button. Okay, well, it should also be the context sensitive
parry
push
is context sensitive.
True.
So it is just the context sensitive button.
All right.
There you go. Zing.
All right. Well, on that note.
No, I think one other thing before we move on. No, I wanted to say that it kind of links to links.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're done.
No.
The podcast is over.
It links to the conversation we had a while ago on consoles and like porting games to consoles and things like that.
Oh.
And how some games are played better on different
console,
yeah, or whatever, or like a specific console versus another specific console, because I think of these features, which is why I haven't bought Unpacking yet, because I was just Googling like what to play it on, and I can't see, like, I don't know, I feel like I don't have enough data. Like, it would be really nice if like a developer wrote out how the controls are used in each version.
I would assume PC because
I'm guessing
I assume
PC.
that you just click a lot.
I just found a Reddit and but it's so mixed. Like, a lot of people do it on PC and they say it's good because of the mouse control, but then they're like, but Switch because it's a cozy game and you can just cozy up in your bedroom. And I'm like, oh, that sounds nice too.
You have a laptop. You can cozy up on that.
Yeah, no, I know. It's gaming on a laptop is annoying because I need to use a mouse. And then where do I put the mouse if I'm in my bed?
For a cozy game, I think you can use the touchpad.
I know, but it's just easier with the mouse. It hurts my wrist less if I play a long time.
We'll have to buy it on both.
No. Anyway, I just wanted to say that's another part of the consideration, and it's something that I think players can also think about. Like, just because a game is available on like 5 consoles doesn't mean you should just buy it on like your favorite console. Like, you should look at what the actual gameplay is like.
Yeah, like, people are very excited for Baldur's Gate on PS5.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, that's going to be terrible.
Like,
that's going to be terrible.
I don't understand how that could work. People played Diablo 3 on PS4. I don't understand what's going on,
again,
folks.
On our console episode, I talked about Sims on, like, PS5. I guess it was probably PS3 back then. But, like, that's terrible. Like, Sims is a click game. It's for clicking
people are
only.
Insane.
So, yeah. So, I think that's also, like, developers, yes, like, think through how all those things combine, but then also players, like, that's worth looking into. If you see that it's available on like 4 different places, watch videos, look at what the actual like gameplay is like, and decide for yourself what's going to be easiest for you and most fun for you, because fun also matters. Obviously, it's video games.
No, actually, fun is no. Okay, let's speaking of fun,
there you go.
Let's go on to the most fun segment
is.
Of our little game design podcast, the rapid fire round. Can you explain to the listeners what that means? The RFR?
Oh, yeah. We've never called it that before, so that's already different. The rapid fire round is when we generate 3 random words. We have 5 minutes to come up with a game idea based on those 3 words, and then that's it. And we're happy with it. And we have to come up with a name for it, and that's the most important part.
And the mechanics are the most important
part. No, the name is the most...
Wow. All right, listeners, write in to let us know. We'll plug the email at the end of the episode like we always do, but write in and tell us.
You actually have to keep listening if you want to do that.
Yeah. you can't stop now. All right. I got the timer ready.
Right,
you got the words ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Aware, expand, reservoir.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, this is a 4X game.
What's that mean?
4X it's like explore, expand, exploit.
We've talked about this before.
Something else, exterminate.
Excellent.
I don't know. Excellent. Sure. Civilization is an example of a 4X game. So expand obviously already fits. I already forget. Aware is like the exploration part. You have to be aware of what's around you, either enemies or resources.
Wait, we're going really fast. I know it's rapid, but what was the example you gave for the 4X game?
Civilization.
Oh, I don't know that game. Okay, anyway.
Sid Meier's Civilization.
Is there any game I know that is the one Age of Empires?
No, that is a real-time strategy game.
What's the difference? It sounds like you're describing a real-time strategy game. Oh no, we don't have time to go into it.
This is a question, but write that down for next week. Next week. If we haven't talked about this in depth before, but okay. The reservoir part here's the interesting part. This world is filled with magic. And part of your cities is the reservoir of magic that you've explored, you found, and then you've been able to like pull out of the land and fill in to fuel magical spells. So you have literal reservoirs of magic that you draw from, and that's like the end game. That's the win condition. Is you do the big world-ending spell or shielding spell, you defeat the evil empire, whatever.
Okay, we get that. I think it's funny because I thought we were going in the exact same place, and then you went completely, you just took a sharp turn, because I was thinking reservoir like body of water, and I thought you were going to be expanding the reservoir and like building water, but I think yours is more fantasy, which is fun, so we can keep it. What's it called? What
were the 3 words?
Aware, expand, reservoir.
That's the name.
No. No, we can only do that in very unique circumstances. How much time?
We've got plenty of time. Okay. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds
when
left.
When I say how much time, saying plenty of time is not an answer to that question.
Okay, sorry. All right. Reservoirs of magic.
Reservoir bogs.
What?
Reservoir bogs.
If there was a swamp theme here, I mean, if this was a game about frogs robbing banks, 100% yes.
Okay, well so you have to pitch that next week then.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I feel like it has to either be silly or epic.
I want to try to go for something epic, and I'm thinking of Masters of Magic, but Masters of Magic is a 4X game.
Okay, so what so we could say what is another word for masters? Like
maestros.
Maestros of
Lords of Mana. Lords of Mana.
Or maestros of mana.
But
then you got the
maestros of mana, and mana spelled with 2 N's.
Okay, yeah.
Maestros of Mana. And that's also the name of the world and the resource of the world. Perfect. And that's 1 minute and 14 seconds left, folks.
Great.
Let's give it up for the masters of the rapid fire round, the MRFRs.
Okay. I mean, we still have 2 more rounds.
Yeah, well, we're going to ace it just as much as we just aced that one. So okay. I'm going to start the timer, and I started it.
Okay. Bow.
Or bow.
Okay, so this actually is interesting because it could be bow, bow, and then bow could be like a bow, like a shooting bow, or like a hair bow.
Okay, we've got a multi-word, folks.
Bow, like bowing at the waist, bow like a ship. There's so many ways things could go. Grain. Could be grain of sand, grain of wood, grain eating grain. This is and then professor. Professor's just one thing. Although I guess it could be someone professing, right?
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. That one's a little silly. Anyway, so yeah, bow, grain, and professor.
Bow, grain, and professor. Okay. So bow and grain together makes me think of a ship.
Yes.
Oh, because grain of wood. I was actually thinking a ship that carries grains of salt and rice and wheat. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how professor went in. You are a professor of engineering, or there is a professor of like boat engineering.
Okay, wait.
Involved.
Here's a game. Game. It's called Flood 2: Noah's Revenge, and you are a professor of engineering, but you are also getting messages.
Threatening messages?
Yes.
From some guy called Noah?
Yeah, and you have to build an ark. And the specification, because this is real, the specifications are like really weird. I mean, real in the sense that if you read the Bible, the specifications for the ark don't really make sense.
40 cubits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's things like that. So it's like a lot of the game is trying to parse like how to actually do this and getting it wrong a lot. Like,
the absolute nonsense of
right. And then the
we've
voice
got 12
is
different
like,
definitions of cubit.
yeah. And the voice is like, no, that's not right. Try again.
I imagine this like an old like I had a child's game where you could make cake
Okay.
at my grandma's house.
That sounds like fun.
And it was pixels, and it would make goofy sound effects, and it was very simple. It was like literally just like pick a frosting,
Drag and drop.
pick.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it like that, almost like a point and click adventure, like the library game would be.
But with instructions.
With instructions and the booming voice line.
It's like, you got it wrong. Try again.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, it's got weird instructions, only delivered via voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's even better. Yeah. We'll add an accessibility option, obviously.
Okay. Yes.
But generally speaking, only voice.
Yes. Temporary instructions that you have to keep in mind.
Right. They're not. You can't like reference them.
Yes. Unless you write them down yourself.
Right. Which could be part of your gameplay. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. That's how you win. And then you build a ship.
Yeah. And if you actually build a successful ship I think the voice, because it's called Noah's Revenge, so maybe the voice is Noah who's getting revenge on God.
He's flooding
for what he
heaven?
did. He's like, no, never mind.
Then why would you build a boat?
That doesn't make sense.
Unless you have to build a boat
Should
to
it still
get
just
to
be called
heaven.
Noah's Revenge? Maybe Noah's upset at how things didn't work out.
It doesn't necessarily
have
need to make sense.
Well, now that all the super evangelical listeners have turned off their podcast.
Yep. I'm going to say we're done.
Yeah.
A minute and 25 seconds left.
It's a flood to Noah's Revenge.
Anyway, sorry if we offended you with our Noah game.
Yeah. It's supposed to be funny because it's not supposed to ever happen in the Bible. That's why it's
God
funny.
explicitly said
That's
it
why
wouldn't
it's
happen.
funny. That's why it's a joke.
So it's sacrilege on several levels. All right. Are you ready for the third and final, the ultimate, if you will, rapid fire round? The reefer, if you will.
The reefer?
RFR.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm starting now.
Appeal classroom consideration.
Okay, mock trial in a classroom.
I feel like we've done mock trial before.
We're not doing a Learn 'em Up Kids game about the legal system.
I thought we would do a Learn 'em Up Kids game about how hard teaching is. So this made me think of like teachers who want something for their classroom and then their district won't fund it. So they have to create they have to like fundraise for it instead or pay out of their own pocket.
Okay. Or wait, what's the second word? It's appeal, consideration, and classroom. Because isn't there a thing with the Oscars where it's for your consideration or something?
Oh, yes. That's what they send out. They send out all the screeners. So the screeners are just like the viewing copies of the movie that they send to all the Oscar judges, and they send like letters and stuff, and that's what that is.
Okay.
I was thinking for your consideration, like you have basically you have to appeal to the superintendent, and that's kind of for your consideration. Here is my proposal, but then it fails, and then you have to.
So that's the story setup.
Yeah.
And then what's the gameplay?
Coming up with interesting fundraisers in your classroom to try to get whatever interesting thing you need for your classroom.
Okay.
Ooh, so it can kind of be like a decorating game, like you're trying to fill your classroom with like all the things you need, but it's like really hard because you can't just like buy it like in The Sims.
Oh, I was actually thinking that it would be a series of mini games representing each of your
fundraising attempt.
You don't you as the player don't come up with the fundraising attempts, but the fundraising attempts are represented by mini games.
Yeah. I like that. I think we can do that, and then with my thing was basically like you get to choose what you're raising for. So it's like I want new desks, and then you like play the new desks mini game.
Okay, and like a wide variety of little mini games like the dunk tank where you're throwing apples and technically you're throwing apples at yourself, but the more you dunk, the more money you get because people are entertained by it.
And then based on your improvements, you can have like a test scores marker.
Yes. And then when the test scores get 100,
you win.
You've accomplished teaching the kids.
Yeah.
Everything they need to know.
And then hopefully people walk away after playing and going, this isn't real, right? And then they'll figure out it's real and then they'll be like, oh no.
Edutainment, folks.
Yeah.
Wait, edutainment, folks? Is that a name?
No.
Is that a... Oh.
I mean, edutainment, I guess, could be. I don't know.
Because it's about how... Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, I tried. I give up now.
How much time do we have?
We have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
We got so much time.
You gotta keep trying. I can't name all the games.
Well, there's a reason I don't often name the game.
I mean, yeah, edutainment, folks, isn't terrible, but I don't know.
Edutainment, comma, folks, exclamation point.
I don't understand it. I don't know how it connects.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's got layers to it, but I can't peel them away like an onion here. We've only got 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Classroom clashes.
Capital FUN Drazing. Fun drazing.
Yeah, no, I like that actually.
Oh, boom. All right, with 1 minute and 12 seconds left on the clock. Fundraising.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, cool. Well, that is the end of our show then.
We did it. We made it through.
We did.
Unbelievable.
So like we mentioned earlier, you can send us an email with any opinions or thoughts you had on some of the things we asked you listeners specifically in the show. But also if you have game ideas or if you have 3 words you want us to turn into a game or if you have game suggestions you want us to try to play, that would be awesome. You can email us at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. At Make That Game Pod. We're also on twitch.tv/Make That Game. I really want to stream Angry Birds in the next month or 2. So if you follow us. So the context is that I've never even seen gameplay of Angry Birds. Never mind play it. So I think it'd be fun to stream it for all of you. My first experience.
A blind playthrough.
Yeah, a completely blind playthrough. Actually, I think there was almost an Angry Birds video on my For You page on TikTok, and I was like, I gotta stay pure.
Get out of here.
So anyway, so that'll be really fun. So if you follow us now, you'll get alerted when that starts, but we'll also mention it. And then I think that's it. Yeah. So if you heard a game that you think, oh my gosh, that needs to exist, we encourage you to get out there and make that game.